Straight ahead on News 20 at 5 with your 11 o'clock newscast. Get an update on Cascades Park and the ongoing Occupy Tallahassee movement. Plus, we'll tell you why Florida is the #1 state people choose to retire in. Plus, coming up in sports, a local after-school program partnering with health organizations to help promote regular physical activity for kids. We'll also tell you what local gym has outstanding young men. Your 11 o'clock news starts right now.
From the highest of 7 hills in Florida's capital city, covering every corner of the Big Bend, this is the award-winning News 20 at 5, live.
Good evening, I'm Valeria Sistrunk. Governor Rick Scott announced today that Tallahassee's unemployment rate has dropped by 2% since last December. Workforce says that unemployment rate is the lowest since April of 2009, and that's tonight's top story. Tallahassee's infant mortality rate in African Americans is increasing. Overall, Florida's infant rate dropped from last year, with the exception of Leon County that had 24 deaths last year. The Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition is informing mothers of ways to reduce their child's risk of death.
Is a lack of knowledge. A lot of women are not familiar with folic acid, which is a vitamin B supplement that they should take on a daily basis, whether they're not pregnant or whether they are pregnant.
The country's rate of white infants is lower than in places like Germany, but has increased. A black baby born in Leon County in 2010 was 6 times more likely to die before their first birthday. Infant deaths are increasing, and so are students in schools. With increased enrollment in schools and a class size limit, it has Leon County districts expanding to classroom portables. Lowering class sizes in Leon County is affecting teachers' salary. With money going towards portables and more teachers, current employees aren't receiving a raise. Not only are districts expanding, but Cascade Park is growing as well. Cascades Park is still underway. Officials say the 24-acre park with a 3,000-seat amphitheater is scheduled to open this October. The project has a storm water project that will take water from Franklin Boulevard through Cascades Park and dump it into a pond. Speaking of an ongoing mission, Occupy Tallahassee is still holding on. The movement started on Wall Street and is currently in many cities around the globe. The movement in Leon County started in October of 2011. It started off strong, but the number of people participating is slowly decreasing. However, the number of drug-addicted babies is increasing. More babies are being born with symptoms of drug abuse. Reporter Courtney Wallace has more.
Some Florida mothers are getting high on drugs and not alone. It's being passed to their unborn. The Florida Agency for Healthcare Administration reported 354 babies with withdrawal symptoms in 2006. In 2010, it skyrocketed to 1,374. Illegal drugs aren't the only source. Prescription medicine is becoming popular too. Dr. McKendrick says it's essential for mothers to become properly nourished, especially during pregnancy. The use of drugs has a negative effect on the fetus.
Being addicted when they were born, and so their bodies are having to withdraw from the drug. Doesn't say that these children don't recover, because they do, and they have.
Long-term symptoms include ADD, ADHD, or a delay in motor skills. Kids are full of energy and they need the proper exercise to grow and be healthy. Latoya suffers from long-term symptoms.
My mom was pregnant with me. She was on drugs, and because of that, I have ADHD and my vision is completely off. And throughout childhood, I have dealt with mental health issues, such as panic attacks.
Florida has an increase in drug-addicted babies. There's many ways to help prevent this problem. However, members of both the House and the Senate have recognized this problem and have presented bills to be passed. I'm Courtney Wallace with Family TV 20.
Thank you, Courtney. Patients are still waiting to get their medication. Officials say as funds eventually roll in, patients are slowly being taken off the ADAP waiting list. HIV and AIDS is one of the many problems in Florida, and it leaves some people in a life or death situation when they're needing their medication. Florida has the highest number of kids drowning in residential pools. The Florida Department of Health Division says drowning is the leading cause of death from 4-year-olds. Florida is the #1 place people choose to retire in. Chuck Carley, Department of Elderly Affairs, says there are many reasons why people choose the Sunshine State.
Year-round availability of recreation.
Coming up on News 20 at 5, your 11 o'clock newscast, find out what baby finds in a hotel, plus the harsh conditions in Australia. Stay tuned, you're watching News 20 at 5.
Remember when imagination could take us anywhere? It still can. Destination Imagination is an extraordinary after-school activity that lets any child experience creativity, teamwork, and problem-solving. Parents and teachers, start a Destination Imagination team and let your child begin the journey of a lifetime.
Sometimes learning to read can be one of the hardest obstacles that a student has to overcome. However, with help, learning to read can be a child's stepping stone to achieving confidence and produce a drive to become something great. If you want to have an impact on the life of a child, come join our team. Literacy volunteers make a difference. Call 850-487-4444 or check out our website at www.literacyvolunteerleon.org.
President of the Susan G. Komen for the Cure Foundation is giving up her position. Karen Handel resigned after controversy over funding for some Planned Parenthood projects. The breast cancer group decided not to review a partnership with the Planned Parenthood, but went back on the decision. A Pennsylvania university is providing effortless ways to access to the morning after pill through vending machines. Ewa Roman has the story.
It's that easy. Students at Shippensburg University can now walk into a room inside the health center and get Plan B, the emergency contraception, from a vending machine.
So we had some conversations with them. We went out and we did a survey of the student body, and we got an 85% response rate that students would be supportive of having Plan B in the health center.
The university does not make a profit from this. They pay $25 for one dose, and that's exactly what the student has to pay.
We were uncomfortable providing it for free because that would mean that we were supporting Plan B with either state money or fee money.
Dr. Sir says that somewhere between 350 and 400 doses are sold each year to the female population, which last fall totaled 3,718 students. The pill can be legally sold over the counter to anyone 17 or older. Dr. Sir says making it available through a vending machine makes things a bit more comfortable for students.
It's really there, the machine is really used as much for privacy as anything else if a person wants to come in.
Thank you. An 11-month-old mother is blaming a Virginia motel for her son accidentally eating what she says was cocaine. Jamé came to Virginia with his mom, April, to meet his grandparents for the first time. They stayed at Motel 6. Like most infants, Jamé was teething. He was on the floor when his grandmother found him with a spoon in his mouth. She took it from him and found something very troublesome.
She looked and she was like, "Look at this." And I took it from her, and on the back of the spoon was all burnt up. And on the top of the spoon, you could see all the residue from the cocaine on it.
Authorities say the spoon tested positive for cocaine. Motel 6 gave April a refund and placed her in another room. But this room was just as bad. It had a crack pipe on the floor. The family hopes that higher authorities will be contacted so this will never happen again. Speaking of horrible circumstances, flood water is invading Australia. The floodwaters are expected to peak around 45 feet. A makeshift levee was set in place to guard the town of St. George. Australian officials say that more than 2,000 residents left their homes to remain safe until the flood has passed. The ongoing crisis of obesity doesn't help when school vending machines provide the unhealthiest snacks. Research shows that kids have the easiest access to unhealthy foods in school, and much more is needed to get rid of the products to help kids. Coming up after the break, we will take a look at the most disliked athletes. Plus, We will take a look at FAMU and FSU basketball teams are playing this week. Your News 20 at 5 will be right back.
Florida A&M University students have explored international cultures while discovering what they can become.
From Hong Kong working as a camp counselor to the Dominican Republic for the Study Abroad program, I discovered my passion for international studies. As Miss FAMU, the university has prepared me to represent my institution in the global market.
Discover what you can become.
Descubrir lo que puede llegar a ser.
Yeah, what she said. For more information about our Study Abroad program, visit discoverfamu.com.
The Lady Rattlers are still on fire. They're continuing their streak with 12 consecutive games won. The Rattlers played North Carolina Central. Antonia Bennett led the team with 26 points. They won 100-67. The last time the Rattlers scored 100 points was 17 years ago. FAMU men's basketball team wasn't so lucky like the women's. The Eagles beat FAMU 76-61. The Rattlers have lost 17 games this season. Hopefully, they will be able to win a couple more before the season is over. The FSU men's basketball team is still bringing in victories. The Noles extend their winning streak with 7 against the Virginia Cavaliers. This marks the first time FSU has won 7 straight against conference teams. They won 58-55. FSU's women's basketball team completed their season with a win against the Virginia Tech Hokies. Natasha Howard was in beast mode, scoring 16 points and catching 14 rebounds. On to other sports. Capital Health Plan has partnered with Champions After School Program and other organizations in Leon County to promote healthy activities and lifestyles in kids. This was a community-wide event to help children with ways that will help with flexibility, posture, and hand coordination. Champions isn't all about health. They utilize programming and communication skills and teamwork. Rashad Green says this is healthy fun.
The kids is a self-esteem builder. You know, some kids who couldn't, jump as far as they desired or wasn't the best at PE, or when they feel themselves getting better, I think that it builds their self-confidence and their self-esteem.
The program is available for students in the 3rd through 12th grade and operates during the after-school hours. If you would like to register your child for the program, visit championusa.com. Forbes magazine releases the most disliked athletes. The poll was conducted by Nielsen and ePoll Market Research. At the top of the list was Philadelphia Eagle quarterback Michael Vick and golfer Tiger Woods, with over 60% of dislikes, says Forbes. But Vick had more dislikes a lot than Woods. Speaking of dislikes, during the Super Bowl, many fans reacted to the 12-minute halftime performances, complaining that bands didn't sound good, and the finger flash MIA shot at the cameras is still being talked about. Coming up on your News 20 at 5, your 11 o'clock newscast, find out what local gym has the most talented young boys. That and more when we return.
All children deserve to have a positive influence in their lives. At Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Big Bend, we match young people with caring adults. By giving the gift of time, you can make a difference in the eyes of a child. You can become a big brother or big sister by calling 850-386-6002. And with you, little moments create big magic.
Chase Lane and Jeff Warden are some phenomenal 12-year-olds. They are the only 2 boys that are going to the National Future Star Championship in their gym. Lane and Warden attend Gym Force in Tallahassee. Gym Force is dedicated to providing quality gymnastics and cheerleading. Chase says they decided to choose him and Jeff to compete.
They chose me and Jeb to go to Future Stars Colorado. They thought we were ready and we were...
The best friends qualified for the regional meet in Atlanta. Chase and Lane practice 6 days a week and are never scared to try new stunts. Those truly are some talented young men. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Remember to follow us at FAMUTVnews.com. For more news updates, I'm Valeria Sistrunk, and thank you for watching. Have a good evening.